Has there been any scary incident that has happened? Any
Very long ago, once driving down to Bangalore, we were going to a rally, and the two of us girls actually wanted to go to the loo. And in those days, you just had to go out in the open.
Yep.
So we said we were driving ahead, and the boys were following us behind. And we were driving down tree-lined highway, I remember, and driving really slowly because we were waiting the boys to catch up with us. And suddenly this tempo traveler pops out of nowhere and comes straight at us, just didn't stop. And I braked really hard. We were in a Maruti 800. I braked really hard and did what ABS potentially does, because the easier way to brake is brake, leave, brake, leave, brake, leave, brake, leave.
So you braked really hard, and were you girls all right?
Yeah, so I had that kind of ABS. I remember braking, leaving, and we went to the left of the road, and then there was a ditch. So there was no further I could go, but he came and banged us. You had to see the state of that Maruti, and I had a friend with me, so that instant reaction is to kind of do that.
Right.
So I banged my head really hard and was bleeding profusely, and I remember got out of the car and these truckers all stopped, and I'm holding my chin because there's this blood dripping, and I'm holding my chin, and these truckers look up at me and say, "Madam, yahan se nahi," and he puts brake oil on me, and it stopped bleeding like that.
Brake oil?
That's where I learned that there are these tricks that one does on the way, and it was crazy. I mean, it was a bad bang. It turned out to be a very young boy, no license, ferrying passengers across who didn't know how to drive. And so yeah, that was one crazy incident. And the second one where I had a real scare was during the Himalayan rally. I was navigating for Zorubathena, and we came round a corner and we heard the diff go, and the second corner we kind of just went straight, and that was really crazy because there was, in the south, when you go off in a rally, there's a lot of shrubbery, foliage, everything to stop you as you go down.
Right.
In the north,
But
there's nothing. So we kind of went off the edge, and there was just that Satluj river, one little ribbon down there in the distance.
Oh
And
my
we were
God!
kind of looking down, and we could hear this of the sand shifting, and I don't know where Zoru got the presence of mind, dumped it into reverse. Luckily, you had the rear diff working, and we got into reverse and came back off. We crawled down that hillside at such a slow pace. Both of us were really shitting.
My God.
Excuse the language, but it was really bad at that point of time. So yeah, it was crazy. So that was, I think, one of the scariest moments in my life, and I realized that rallying is pretty dangerous only then.
My goodness. So that would easily be quite a memorable experience.
Yeah, so there have been memorable experiences. There have been good ones and bad ones. There have been other good ones as well. So many good memories on the road.
Care to share one?
I think my most favorite memory on the road is during the SAARC rally, crossing over the border from India to Pakistan for the very first time in Indian number plate cars.
Wow.
And we crossed the Wagah border, and my God, I get gooseflesh when I tell the story till today. It was such an amazing feeling. Everybody's emotions were running high, this side of the border, that side of the border, the people in the cars, and we were a convoy of 31 cars. So it was just crazy. I mean, that's one of the moments I'll remember. I remember the gates opened to the Wagah side, and there were rose petals flying in the air and drums beating, and there was such a welcome. And it was kind of really amazing.
It was giving me goosebumps, actually.
Yeah. So that's been one of my most favorite moments out on the road. I mean, that's a memory that will stay with me forever. And I did it on my 40th birthday, so that was double memory.
What?
Yeah.
Such a cool girl. So, what is the situation of the automotive industry right now in India, or if you wish to compare it?
So I think we're quite getting up there. I mean, if you see cars, they're being launched almost as they are being launched globally in India, which is, it's great to see because it wasn't at one point of time.
Right.
I think in terms of safety, the industry still has a lot to catch up on. And regulation, the industry still has a lot to catch up on. But that's more governmental than the automotive industry. I think they're all ready with products, and they have it all, the technology, the product, everything's ready.
Right.
Everyone's ready to offer more to the consumer these days. So I think it's a hugely competitive market. The consumer's spoiled for choice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's very interesting at this point of time. It's been through its hiccups. past few years really haven't been easy for the automotive industry. You know, first there was a slowdown, the economic slowdown really gave them a bad time, and then of course the pandemic has made it only worse. So, yeah, it hasn't been easy, but it's an industry that fights and fights and fights and never lets, you know, it never lets go, it never gives up, and that's what I love about it.
And through all of these ups and downs in the automotive industry, how has the consumer behavior changed?
So I think pandemic did, the economic slowdown changed the consumer behavior. I mean, people were scared to buy, they weren't buying. Then there's this whole, you know, diesel, petrol, you know, so there's a lot of confusion. The BS6 caused confusion between buyers. Then the pandemic hit. So there has been, but I think it's now revived itself. It's picking up. It's revived itself a little bit. And in other senses, I think the consumers become a lot more demanding, a lot better educated thanks to social media. And you know, visuals on YouTube and so many reviews that people can see and access and have nowadays. The information that they can have. I think consumers are very well informed when they walk into a showroom.
Yes.
They know what features they want, they know what to ask for. So in that sense, they're looking for a lot more than before.
Alright, now let's move on to some fun quick fire questions.
Okay.
We're going to make this a little cheeky for you.
Okay.
It's a very small one. It's a fun one. So here goes. Are you ready?
Ready for it.
Your seat belts up. Yep. Buckled in.
Buckled in first gear. Well, there's no gears here, but we're in an EV. But yeah, proverbially.
Right. Let's see. Electrical or gasoline?
Gasoline.
Turbos or naturally aspirated?
Naturally aspirated.
4x4s or crossover SUVs?
4x4.
Ooh. Budh or MMRT or Kari?
MMRT, any day.
Writing articles or creating videos?
That's a tough one. I love my videos, but it's much easier to write an article.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In spite of being in front of the camera for that many years?
Yeah, because that takes so much work, and you know, when you write an article, you can drive the car peacefully, enjoy it, and then go back home, think about what you want to write and write it. Whereas on video, it's like on demand, right?
Yes, absolutely. Keeps changing every second. Yeah. So, okay, tell me, what are your thoughts on EVs? Like we're in one right now. What is your take in general on?
Well, like all petrol heads, initially I was very, very disdainful about EVs. You know, like what's my job going to be when everything is the same? But I have to say, there's been so much progress, even in EVs, in the race for EVs, and when you drive cars like this, you know, the e-tron, you realize how far the game has moved, and yeah, this is the way forward, this is the way it's going to be, and we better get used to it. I think the world, as we see, needs cleaner, greener environment. Absolutely. There's an argument to be made where you get that source of energy from and how green that is. So I think there's still a lot of hurdles to cross, especially in our country. Infrastructure, the source of the energy being green itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, I think globally EV is the way forward.
Do you think we're equipped, or as a country?
Oh yeah, EVs? I have no doubts that we're equipped. I think we just need to get the ducks in a row. I think when government finally decides, okay, this is what we're doing, they've said it, and then they've kind of hedged on it, and they've gone to hydrogen, and then look, it's an expensive technology. It needs some impetus. It needs some tax breaks. But we see, you know, we see the industry moving towards bringing EVs to the masses. That's happening slowly and steadily, but it's not easy. So I think there has to be a helping hand from the government, which is happening slowly and steadily. But I think they also need to offer the helping hand in terms of infrastructure, charging stations, you know, charging points. They need to be available as easily as petrol pumps across the country for, you know, the technology to be widely accepted, because range anxiety is still a thing, and, you know, it's still developing, it's nascent, there isn't that much range, so you do need accessibility to charging infrastructure.
You think a petrol, diesel country like ours, loving country like ours, are ready, you think the people are going to be welcoming of the EVs?
Well, you look at the EVs that are affordable these days, they're selling. They're selling well. Better than they expected to. So yeah, I think people are ready where they have access to infrastructure.
Right.
I think if you provided overnight, if you went and said, okay, every petrol station in India is going to have a charging point, you'd see a lot more EVs sold. That's my opinion.
Talking about EVs, what do you think of this beautiful babe right here?
Oh, I really liked the e-tron when I drove it, and I've said it then and I'll say it again. I think in terms of luxury EVs, it's a package that's really hard to fault. The interiors are fantastic. It drives really nicely. It's practical because you've got that back seat, you've got boot space. It doesn't bottom out anywhere. So I think as far as luxury EVs go, the e-tron is really a great product. I mean, just look at the way it looks as well.
This dashboard is just gorgeous.
It is.
Sometimes I feel like I'm sitting in a Batmobile. What are your thoughts on women foraying into the automotive industry? As like you said, I mean,
I am so happy when women foray into the automobile industry, and I see so many moves being made towards it, whether it's in motorsports, whether it's in reviewing like you guys are doing now, whether it is in getting women onto the shop floor in manufacturing departments. And I see that happening more and more, and it makes me really happy, because I just feel gender shouldn't be a decider for a profession. It should be what you enjoy doing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's the same. I mean, if men go into the kitchen and become chefs, why can't women drive and rally and produce cars? It's the same for me. I mean, you know, if women are traditional women-oriented careers are being done by men, and it's similar for women. You know, I mean, it shouldn't be a bias either way around. Gender just shouldn't be a bias.
It's 2021. It's time to move on.
Absolutely.
So you spoke about motorsports. Tell me, did you ever get into it, or would you ever do something into motorsports?
I did. Like I said, I did my first race, which I won, which is what I told you. And then I was bitten by the bug really bad. So yeah, I raced and rallied for a couple of years. In fact, my last rally was when I was pregnant and didn't know it. So that was kind of what brought a halt to it. But yeah, so I guess that's why my daughter has springs in her feet. But yeah, so I kind of rallied till I could.
Would you do it now, given a chance?
Honestly, I don't think I have that I don't give a attitude anymore. You know, when you have kids and you have family and you've grown up and life changes, and yeah, I still enjoy a fast car. I can still drive at 300 kilometers an hour and enjoy it. But I don't know if I'd go tearing down a countryside road with no barriers and, you know, doing crazy things with as much guts as I did it then. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's a time for everything in life. I did that. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed many years of it. And sure, I'll get into a race car and drive around a track hell for leather and really love it.
Yeah.
Even now. I mean, I went and drove the Formula E a couple of years ago with you know, and I really loved that experience as well. So, yeah, I enjoy doing these things, and I'm happy to get into a race car anytime. But competitive, I don't think so.
What are we to expect from you in the near future? Any projects, any interesting things you're coming up with that you would like to say?
Always doing interesting things and being out on the road, and we do some crazy stuff and some nice shoots. It's always it's a process of, I think, growing, learning, changing things. Media itself, the way it is changing so fast. I mean, we look at the kind of cameras we started with. You know, we used to shoot with a big TV Pro cameras, and then you know, you went to smaller, and now it's DSLR and then GoPro. So it's a constant learning process. So I think technology in cars, technology in the media field, everything around me is changing so rapidly that every day is something new. Every day I'm learning, and you know, I'm also always looking forward to what's next, because you never know what's around the corner.
Right. Definitely. What would you like to tell our viewers and your fans watching you right there, right now.
Thanks guys for watching, and watch out for these girls, they're really cool.
But so the country is getting to watch us. It's only because women like you have paved the way for us, and you have cleared whatever hurdles that we would have possibly encountered. You have given us an option, and you have shown us that, hey, this is possible in an age, in an era, in a place where, let's face it, whether we like it or not, sexism does exist. We are jeered, we are ridiculed, and we are made fun of, and it's stereotypical.
Yeah.
But you have cleared so many hurdles for us, and truly, on behalf of all the girls who want to be in this industry, I thank you very much.
That really makes me feel more special than I really am. But I think it's when you have a dream and you follow your heart, everything else falls in place.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's lovely if it just, if it happens. That's what you dreamt of, and it happens. It's amazing. And I had a wonderful chat with you.
Yes, it's been really cool for me too.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And a huge shout out to Audi for this gorgeous, stunning girl, which I had the pleasure of driving around today and talking to Renuka right here. And all of you who are watching this show, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, hit the like button. Come on, it's right there, and it's a one-finger job. Just hit it, and keep a lookout for us. We will be back again soon with some really exciting and fun content.